What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. Man, we have been loving our time here in South Dakota. It's been a very busy couple of weeks. I know we were cranking out some videos a couple times a week, but once we got into Hill City and kind of got set up at our campsite, I started my work camping job, so it's been busy, but we definitely want to start bringing you guys some more videos. So we're going to start by giving you guys an idea of what our 1 month budget looked like. Our first month on the road full-time. Obviously a lot of things were a little bit different with the coronavirus pandemic going on.
That's COVID-19.
It turned out to be a little more expensive than we kind of thought it was going to be initially.
Gas was a little cheaper though.
Yeah, that's true. So the only thing that was less expensive than we thought it would be is the fuel. But other than that, everything else turned out to be a little more. So initially our original plan was to head out west, and we were going to incorporate some harvest host sites. We were going to incorporate some quite a bit of boondocking, use some BLM land out west to really cut down on our lodging expenses. But with a lot of that stuff being closed off and closed down, and states implementing 14-day shelter-in-place orders and things like that, obviously our plan changed quite a bit. So we ended up going straight from Florida into Georgia, and then just made our way basically straight north, stopping a night or two along the way in some spots. But those all ended up being pretty much, other than one harvest host, those all ended up being private RV parks, other than some state parks in Georgia. Yeah, so Georgia was the only place we could stay in state parks, because they were the only ones that were really open. So
yeah, them in South Dakota pretty much are the only state parks that are still open.
So with all that being said, here's just an idea of what it took us and what we spent to get from Florida to South Dakota in about a month. So it was our first month on the road full time.
Diesel fuel, $813.99. The cheapest was $1.95 in Nebraska. The most expensive was $2.60 in Georgia.
Right. So we spent $813.99 in fuel to go from Florida to South Dakota. We did find it for $1.95 in Nebraska, which ended up being quite a bit cheaper than we found it anywhere else. And the most we paid per gallon was $2.60, and that was in Georgia. So that was our fuel expense. Category 2.
Lodging, $930.17.
So $930.17 on lodging. So we stayed 19 nights, which was all state parks in Georgia and Custer State Park in South Dakota. So the total we spent on state parks was $659.88. That averaged out to $34.73 a night, which is a little high for state parks, especially Custer. I mean, that was an electric only site that we had in Custer. But the flip side of that is you're in Custer State Park, which was amazing. So we didn't have a problem at all spending the money to stay there. That was fantastic, yeah. Even though it was a little on the pricier side for just a electric only site. So 19 nights at state parks, 11 nights at private parks, and those were all at Passport America, except for one. The one that we stayed at in Nebraska was not a Passport America, but we could have probably found a Passport America park, but we really just were trying to get to South Dakota as quick as possible. We didn't want to spend a lot of time driving off the highway, so we just found somewhere right off the highway that we could just stop in for a night that had full hookups, so we could dump and refill the water tank and everything, and get back on the road as quick as possible. And then we had one night at a harvest host, which while the harvest host site was free, kind of the customary thing to do when you stay at a harvest host is to purchase something from the host, whether that be at a farm that has something there that they're selling, or a winery. So this particular one that we stayed at was a farm. I bought a section of a brisket. So in reality, that free harvest host site ended up costing us about $40, but at least we got a tasty brisket out of it.
So the total was $270.29 that we spent on the private parks, which broke down to about $24.57 a night.
And that average would have been a lot less had we not stayed at the one private park that was not a Passport America member, because that one ended up costing us about $44 just to stay one night, whereas the majority of all our Passport America's parks were less than $20 a night. So that one park kind of skewed our average a little bit high, but $24.57 a night on average to stay at the private parks.
And I will add something about the harvest host. There are museums too, so you can do like museum tours. That'd probably be the cheapest ones.
That's right. If you were staying at a museum and had the time, then you could stay at a museum and then do the museum tour, which may be less expensive than if you were staying at a winery or somewhere like that, and we're buying something a little more on the expensive side. The next category is one that kind of surprised us in a way, but in a way it didn't. I mean, we kept track of all our expenses, but we didn't really add anything up until we got to South Dakota. We knew we had kind of a set amount of money set aside to get to South Dakota, and this one kind of surprised us. So our next category, Dylan,
is groceries, $1,002.43.
and that one surprised us a little bit, because generally when we were in Florida, kind of stationary there in Florida, our average grocery bill was around $150 a week. We did shop at Aldi quite a bit, so getting on the road and really not having access to an Aldi really kind of showed us, that we were getting a lot of savings from using Aldi. The other thing was, with all of the coronavirus stuff going on, we weren't sure what was going to be available. We were finding a lot of stuff out of stock. When we found a place that had meat in stock, we kind of stocked up on it. So when we actually got to the end of our 30 days, we still had a pretty good stocked pantry full of food and quite a bit of stuff still left over in the freezer. So that $1,000 isn't really just for a month, but we definitely had to buy some extra things that we normally wouldn't have bought extra, if we knew they were going to be available, and we knew we could find things, the normal things you would expect to find, like your paper towels and your toilet paper and meat. I mean, hamburger meat, just nothing extravagant, but we were definitely running into some big time struggles, and we were finding ourselves kind of stopping at some little like mom and pop type grocery stores, which is great, but they were quite a bit more expensive than if you were to go somewhere. I mean, even Walmart, the few Walmarts that we stopped at were out of meat, and I mean, the meat case was cleaned out. So if we found somewhere that we thought we could get some meat and stick in the freezer, we were doing that. So I think that's why that grocery portion of the budget was so high.
A final category, miscellaneous items, $276.90.
And in the miscellaneous category, we counted things like propane. We counted things like the DEF, the diesel exhaust fluid for the truck.
Truck wash.
Getting the truck and the RV washed. Our dog food, which probably could have been budgeted in the grocery side, but it wasn't groceries for us to eat, so we put that in the miscellaneous side. And then we made a trip to Cabela's and picked up some extra fishing accessories for here in South Dakota. So that's the things we put in there on the miscellaneous side. So we really kept track of every penny that we spent, no matter how large or small it was. We really kept track of it. So Dylan, what was our grand total that we spent in 1 month between leaving Florida and getting to South Dakota and spending our first week in South Dakota?
$3,023.49.
So there you have it, $3,023.49. And that was a real eye opener, because that was a lot more than I thought we spent. But again, we had to do a lot of things different. We couldn't take advantage of a lot of the free sites that we were planning on taking advantage of, and we had to really kind of focus on groceries and take a lot of things into consideration that when things are normal, you wouldn't have to consider. So it was definitely more expensive. So definitely anxious to get started on our work camping jobs so we can start kind of building those reserves back up a little bit. But all in all, I think it really gave us a good idea of where our money was going, areas that we need to really keep an eye on, maybe some, and really there was nothing frivolous on here. I mean, we didn't eat out at all. Everything that we ate was from a grocery store that we bought and cooked ourselves. So you know, that $3,000 was not us going and having steak dinners a couple nights a week, or you know, picking up fast food and eating on the road. I mean, that was
We may have splurged on a bison steak, but
Yeah.
it was one that he made.
that's true. That was our splurge. Our splurge was getting some bison steaks, and those were like $10 a piece. So we spent $30 on bison steaks. But again, I cooked it, so you know, I don't know what 3 bison steaks would cost in a restaurant, but probably more than $30.
Probably more than $30.
So,
And I think that this has also helped us realize, instead of using the smaller grocery stores for your basic items like coffee creamer, paper plates, paper towels, it's much cheaper to go with the Walmart instead of the smaller stores. I mean, there are some good deals on the meats at the smaller stores, so
Yeah.
during our time in South Dakota, I think we're going to try to focus on using the Walmart for the basics and picking up some of the meats because there are some good deals at some of the markets.
yeah, we have a local. There is a little local grocery store here in Hill City, and that one, your miscellaneous items, like your everyday items, are quite a bit more expensive. But as far as meat and things like that go, I mean, I have noticed that for whatever reason, pork is pretty cheap here, a lot less expensive than it was in Florida. Right now, the thing that we're seeing the biggest difference with, I think, is ground beef. I mean, ground beef, it's very difficult to find decent quality ground beef for under $5 a pound. I mean, it's between $4.50 and $5 a pound, which in Florida, I mean, we were getting grass-fed ground beef. We could pick it up at our local fresh market down there for $2.99 a pound. That was a special they ran on Tuesdays. So, we were really kind of spoiled on finding that high-quality ground beef at a really inexpensive price, and that's definitely not the case anymore. In no way are we complaining about what we spent. It's been great. We absolutely love it here. We're pretty well set into our spot now. I'm a couple weeks into my work camping job. We'll be doing a different video on that. And other than that, there you have it. So we are definitely looking forward to cutting that budget down, because $3,000 a month it's a little steep. So we're looking forward to getting that cut back, and like I said, build those reserves up so that when this work camping job's over in the summer, we are ready to rock and roll for a few weeks, go visit some new places before heading to the beet harvest.
Yep.
So, all right. Anything else?
No.
That about it?
Yep.
All right.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest at Trippy Outdoors. Bye, guys.
All right. We'll catch you guys down the road.